There are two kings in Israel still. David is king over the house of Judah. Ishbosheth, Saul's son, is king over the rest of Israel. But Abner, commander of Ishbosheth's army, the one who'd been commander of King Saul's army, is now dead. What effect will that have on David's rise to the throne? Let's find out. I am in 2 Samuel chapter 4, verse 1, reading from the New American Standard Version. Now, when Ishbosheth, Saul's son, heard that Abner had died in Hebron, he lost courage, and all Israel was disturbed. So this is the fallout. We knew that Abner was the force behind Ishbosheth. He was the one who held the power in the house of Saul. Now that Abner is gone, Ishbosheth has lost courage. Clearly not an effective leader now, if he ever was. And Israel is disturbed. They know who was truly in power. Now there's no commander of the army. They're vulnerable. Continuing verse 2, Saul's son had two men who were commanders of bands. The name of the one was Baanah, and the name of the other Rechab, sons of Rimmon the Beerothite, of the sons of Benjamin. For Beeroth is also considered part of Benjamin, and the Beerothites fled to Gittim and have been aliens there until this day. Now Jonathan, Saul's son, had a son crippled in his feet. He was 5 years old when the report of Saul and Jonathan came from Jezreel, and his nurse took him up and fled. And it happened that in her hurry to flee, he fell and became lame, and his name was Mephibosheth. So the sons of Rimmon the Beerothite, Rechab and Baanah, departed and came to the house of Ishbosheth in the heat of the day while he was taking his midday rest. They came to the middle of the house as if to get wheat, and they struck him in the belly. And Rechab and Baanah his brother escaped. So we're introduced to these brothers, Baanah and Rechab, from the tribe of Benjamin, same tribe as Saul and Ishbosheth. These brothers are both commanders in the army, so they know better than most that Israel is in trouble with Abner dead and a weak king Ishbosheth on the throne. They also know that David has been winning the war over the house of Saul and has been growing stronger as king over Judah. So these brothers take it upon themselves to kill Ishbosheth and thus position themselves for greatness in David's kingdom. And we see this one verse about Jonathan's son Mephibosheth. We'll learn more about him in a later chapter. Here it serves to give us an understanding of who's remaining in the house of Saul that might have contended for the throne. There really is no one else who could challenge David. Continuing verse 7, now when they came into the house as he was lying on his bed in his bedroom, they struck him and killed him and beheaded him. And they took his head and traveled by way of the Arabah all night. Then they brought the head of Ishbosheth to David at Hebron and said to the king, behold, the head of Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, your enemy, who sought your life. Thus the Lord has given my lord the king vengeance this day on Saul and his descendants. What a display they've put on for David. They've got Ishbosheth's head. They refer to Saul as your enemy who sought your life. And they ought to know they're commanders in the army. They were surely right there with Saul hunting for David. They call David my Lord the King, and they invoke the Lord's name, saying he's given vengeance this day through these brothers. And much like that Amalekite in chapter 1 who brought David Saul's crown and told him he had killed the king, these brothers stand awaiting their reward. And you already know David's response. Continuing verse 9, David answered Rechab and Baanah his brother, sons of Rimmon the Beerothite, and said to them, As the Lord lives, who has redeemed my life from all distress. When one told me, saying, behold, Saul is dead, and thought he was bringing good news, I seized him and killed him in Ziklag, which was the reward I gave him for his news. How much more, when wicked men have killed a righteous man in his own house, on his bed, shall I not now require his blood from your hand and destroy you from the earth? Then David commanded the young men, and they killed them and cut off their hands and feet and hung them up beside the pool in Hebron. But they took the head of Ishbosheth and buried it in the grave of Abner in Hebron. In a war such as this for the throne, we might expect someone in David's position to kill Ishbosheth himself. He knows Ishbosheth has been weakened further. He could have said, now's my chance to secure this throne for myself over all Israel. But David is more concerned with clinging to God and doing what's right than clinging to the title of king. He trusted God to establish his throne rather than plotting ways to establish it himself. This is what David said in Psalm 37, verses 1 through 5. Do not fret because of evildoers. Be not envious toward wrongdoers, for they will wither quickly like the grass and fade like the green herb. Trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and cultivate faithfulness. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust also in him, and he will do it. We love the part about God giving us the desires of our heart, which is God working his desires, his will, his plans into our heart. But look at our part. Twice it says to trust in the Lord, do good, cultivate faithfulness, delight yourself in the Lord, commit your way to the Lord. We know one word that sums those things up: cling to the Lord. When we are trusting God, delighting ourselves in him, cultivating faithfulness, committing our way to him, we don't have to worry about establishing ourselves in anything. We don't have to be anxious. We don't have to fret. We don't have to plot and plan like crazy. It says he will do it. David trusted that. May we trust that. Cling and know that God will establish you in his will.